Good morning. My name is Dr. Marie Taylor. I'm a Senior Project Officer with the Development Unit in the Technological University of the Shannon, known as TUS. I am based in the Thurles campus in County Tipperary. I work in the area of social enterprise, community development, rural development and tourism.
Thank you so much, Marie. And thank you so much for taking the time this morning to speak with us as part of the DISSE Erasmus Plus project on the sharing economy. As you mentioned, you're a Senior Project Officer in the Development Unit. Can you tell me a little bit more about your role?
Yes, I work as a project officer, and we are involved in a number of projects, both at European level and at the Irish national level, mostly in the area of social enterprise and community and rural development. And we also are continuously applying for other projects in those areas, and now we have expanded into the area of tourism as well. So in the development unit, in my role as a project officer, I would be involved with on European projects involved in social enterprise, and they would involve a number of European partners, and also at national level I would be involved in a number of projects that would be in the area of both social enterprise but also of community development. And they are also about promoting awareness and in the area of community development.
That's fantastic. So you mentioned there that you work with a number of European partners. So that really is the idea of that sharing economy and sharing knowledge and resources. Have you heard of the term sharing economy before, and have you used it in any of these projects?
Yes, there are a number of projects that are actually focused around the sharing economy. So I'll just outline a number of them here for you today that we are involved in with the development unit in TUS. So for example, we have the NEF Plus project, which is about the new education forum. And that involves again a number of European project partners, and it is about looking at outdoor education and promoting and increasing awareness around outdoor education, and especially the use of digital technology and digital tools in the outdoor education arena. And the main output of that project is actually to develop a network of people at different levels. So a network of people who are involved in outdoor education, a network of people who are involved in education itself, and who might be interested in incorporating outdoor education into their current curriculum, etc. So this is all about developing that network. Part of that is developing a website that will have a number of areas in it. So for example, in Ireland, we will have a number of the outdoor education trainers up on the website, telling about their experiences and especially about their best practice in the area of outdoor education and is the use of digital in terms of outdoor education, etc. So what it is that anywhere in Europe or across the world indeed, people interested in outdoor education and maybe about incorporating digital into outdoor education can go to this website and see the best practice in outdoor education in Ireland, in Poland, in Spain, etc. and get ideas about how to incorporate some of those best practices into their own practices in their own company or in their own country, etc. And this is also about looking at developing networks so that people can come together and share that knowledge and share that practice and also share information. And we have a number of events throughout the year, the new education forums, and they're mainly based in Brussels, where people from across Europe who are involved in outdoor education come together to share that practice and knowledge. And again, this project, the NEF Plus project, the New Education Forum project, is all about strengthening those ties and links between the practitioners in outdoor education and also those who are interested in incorporating it at a future date. So that's one project that involved the sharing economy. We also have another project called Imrosing, which was about empowering women from ethnic minorities through the area of social enterprise. And Rose was a very interesting project because it was such a niche, such specific input into it. It was about getting the experiences of women from ethnic minorities who were trying to work in social enterprise or who were managing social enterprises. And again, this was a very interesting project that focused, one aspect of the outputs focused on the sharing economy. And that output was the digital storytelling library. And that was actually a huge success, both in the stats and the outputs of the project, but also in the women themselves and telling their story. I think what this digital storytelling library was getting women, it was 5 interviews in each of the 7 partner countries. And so you had the likes of Greece, Germany, excuse me, Lithuania, etc. involved in this project. And we were getting the interviews with 5 women from ethnic minorities who were involved in social enterprises. So they were telling their stories, they were telling their experiences, the limitations, the barriers that they encountered, but also the successes that they had. And I think that's so important. And we had great feedback on that because it was the women themselves telling their story, sharing their experiences, but also sharing the negative side and the positive side, so that a woman from anywhere in the world could then go on to this digital storytelling library and look at a video. All the videos were done in the native language of the country, but have English subtitles. And also a script came with each of the videos, so you could see the script of the video themselves as well. And also extra information on each woman and each social enterprise was also given. So you could have a woman anywhere in the world come onto this digital storytelling library and hear not somebody in a classroom telling them how to do this, but the women themselves who have gone through this experience and who are sharing their knowledge, sharing their experience, sharing their best practice, sharing the barriers that they came across and how they overcame them if they could, and sometimes they couldn't, and that was a learning experience in itself. But also they told their success stories, and I think that was important as well because it gives other people, other women, that hope and also that motivation, etc. to carry out or to continue with their own experience. Because sometimes I think it's difficult, especially in a foreign country, etc., and you're going into a new experience, new language, new culture, etc. It is very difficult maybe to sit in a classroom and to hear how you can start a business plan or how you can develop a social enterprise, etc. Whereas if you hear it from a woman who's gone through that herself, who's had that, those childcare difficulties herself, who has maybe had the success herself, it means more, I think, to the women. And that's the feedback that we're getting, is that sharing of their experiences and of their stories has meant a lot to the other women and who are just starting off on that journey. So I think that was a valuable learning curve for us as well in the DU. Another project that we're involved in is called Social Bee, which is about the social economy. And what we're doing in Social Bee is we're looking at the educational gaps that are there in terms of teaching and training in social enterprise, especially in the area of growth and management, etc. And so again, what we're after a series of interviews and surveys, etc., of education providers across Europe. And it wasn't just limited to the project partners, this was across Europe, and we have an interactive map with all the courses, etc., on that. And so that anybody across the world can click onto this map and see where where this course is being held, the level that it's at, and what the module content is, etc., the learning outcomes, etc. And so again, that was important in terms of the sharing economy, because out of that we developed a number of modules that help to address those gaps in the education and training provision in the area of social enterprise. And we were just finishing our piloting of those modules, and so that they'll be adjusted, etc., according to the feedback, and they'll be run out then. And I think again that is sharing the experience of social enterprise education providers, because we have this, as I say, intensive first phase of surveying and interviewing these providers. So they're telling us what they're providing at the moment, and we're looking at what is left, where the gaps are, and we are addressing those. And again, it's coming together then at the end of the final conference, which will be held in Limerick in November. And that is looking again at sharing what we have learned on the project, but also sharing the modules that we have developed and the outputs of those modules. And again, I think that's important because it's sharing the knowledge that we have gained from this project and sharing it with people that are in this area. This is an area of growth across Europe, the social enterprise arena. And it is important that we have established a baseline of what is already out there and what we are developing as part of this Social Bee project that can be shared across Europe.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much. All those projects sound absolutely fascinating. As part of this project, we'll be looking at getting students invested in that kind of sharing economy and working together. Have you any ideas from your experience what way that could work, or any positives sharing economy could bring to students?
Yes, well, for example, in the Social Bee piloting, we were unique in the Social Bee project in that we brought the students of social enterprise, so be that at undergraduate or postgraduate level, where we brought them together with practitioners already established in the social enterprise arena. So there you had two cohorts that usually are very much separated, that you would have training for students in one part, and you'd have training for social people who are already working and experienced in social enterprise in a separate course, whereas we brought them together. And I think that was unique, and it was very positive because they learned from each other, and that was the feedback that we got. And the students learned that the theory doesn't always match up to reality on the ground, and that what the theory is in terms of maybe, for example, a simple thing like getting access to finance. It sounds great in theory, it's quite simple, straightforward, you follow A to B to get to C. Whereas the practitioners will tell you that's not how it is in reality. That you might start out trying to get money from A, but then there's a whole rigmarole and things, the goalposts change, etc. So you end up not being able to go down that path, and you have to find an alternative path. And I think that was very interesting for the students to hear how the reality on the ground can sometimes be quite different to what they learn in the classroom. And how do you deal with that? If they go out and start their day job, first job, etc., and they're left with this, how do they deal with that? And I think that was important that the people who are already in social enterprises brought that experience with them, and how they learn on their feet every day themselves. And I think the social enterprise practitioners got a lot of experience or a lot of insight from the students. They got a lot of the probably up-to-date theory that they mightn't be aware of, because as you can imagine, in a social enterprise, it's usually a very busy, very intense environment with very limited time to do professional development courses, etc. So it's very difficult maybe to keep up to date with the latest theory, the latest technology, etc. So it was interesting for them to see then what the students brought to the table. So it was a real experience, and again they had part of the Social Bee is that the students do work-based learning experience, and so they are and again it helped that they were in the course with practitioners already established in social enterprises. So a lot of the time they were their work experience was based in those social enterprises. So you really had this community developing, this growth of knowledge and awareness developing amongst the students, and also with the social enterprise practitioners as well, and learning on the ground in the social enterprise itself, and also in the course. So you had this real exchange of knowledge, ideas, experiences, etc. And I think that really was a positive that came out of the piloting of the social bee. And I think it is one that could easily be replicated across other projects. And because it has been such a success for Social Bee, we're all about action learning, etc. And that was, and the different pedagogies that are out there at the moment. And that, I think, that's what we based the pedagogy on for Social Bee. It's that active learning, and active learning in the workplace, as well as active learning in the classroom. And I think that really has been a success in terms of both the students' side of things and also the social enterprise practitioners, and that growing community of awareness, of exchange of ideas and experiences.
Excellent, Dr. Taylor. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences with us today. Best of luck in the work that you're continuing to do. It sounds fascinating, and I truly look forward to see where it develops in the future.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Dr. Barron.